So our events that are around, sort of surrounding our work at ISDS, the ISDS UNCITRAL Working Group are called the Evolution Not Revolution events. And the reason that we came up with that name is because it kind of encapsulates the Chartered Institute's position that we've taken in the working group discussions, which is, there's a big question as to whether or not the system should be reformed or repealed and replaced. And our position is that we don't think that a repeal and replace is practical, but we think that the system certainly needs to be reformed. And so we advocate an evolution of the system to, say, an ISDS 2.0, for example. So that's how we got the title of these events. And the event, the first one that we held was back in February of this year, of 2019. And we held it in conjunction with the spring session of UNCITRAL Working Group 3. And it really helps people to kind of know what's being discussed, what's about to be discussed, what's changed since the last series of discussions, and sort of what exactly the states are thinking about and how they are moving through this process, whether any progress is being made, whether any substantive changes are coming, and whether or not the conversation is changing. So for example, when the working group was initially started, there was a lot of conversation around repealing the system and replacing it with what's called a multilateral investment court. The conversation around that has definitely changed in the last couple of years. And so someone who's attending these events would definitely be able to know that that conversation has shifted. In the events, we try to put people on the panel who bring a diverse perspective to the topic. I mean, there are a lot of different stakeholders in the ISDS process. You have the practitioners, you have the clients who are the investors, you have the states, you have the arbitrators, you have the academics who are studying this, and more recently into the system we've had third-party funders come into the conversation. The institutions who administrate the disputes, they are also a key part of the conversation. So this is a very wide impacting conversation. So we try to have as many people on the panel to represent these perspectives. So in the first iteration, we had a very experienced ISDS arbitrator. We had an eminent academic, an experienced practitioner. We had someone who had been in-house counsel for an investor for many years. And we had a representative from a state delegation to UNCITRAL. And so the conversation was very holistic and provided a depth of perspective. This time, here in London, we expect to have a third-party funder on the panel. Again, a state, an arbitrator, academic, and another very experienced practitioner in representing parties in ISDS disputes. In the Singapore event as well, we have practitioners, some very high-level state representatives are participating in that one. And so you're going to, whenever you go to one of these events, and we try to hold them, we intend to hold them every time there's going to be a meeting. So this helps people sort of get a preview of what's coming up, either at New York in the spring or in Vienna in the fall. And each panel will be a little bit different and have a little bit of a different perspective brought in so that people can get the most complete picture of the conversation as possible.